Yeah, good morning. What it is, there's a lot of things been happening to me about my sister shouting on YouTube and saying this and saying that about me, that I'm a liar, doing this and doing that, yeah. We've got to clean the air a bit, you know what I mean? When I was a young kid, I was a bit of a pain in the butt, you know what I mean? I was a young boy, in them early years of 50s. It was like just after the war. You can imagine what it was like. It was like mum's never had no money, 4 or 5 jobs. I didn't know my dad died when I was one. So I never had a father figure. It was all upside down, fighting with Keith, my brother, my sister. I was also getting bashed up. I was always running away, hiding. And that was me. And when I was at school, I was always fighting. I never stopped. I couldn't. Miss Pengelly, the headmistress, this is my infant school. I always remember her name. Yeah, she, I used to drive her mad, and she used to always give me a slipper. And in the end, she talked to my mum. My mum said, "Okay, what I'll do, my mum couldn't cope because I was always indoors causing problems and this that, and the other. So she put me round a house that I thought was my uncle John's house. Yeah, my mum's uncle is John, I think, or John. I can't remember the names. Yeah, but he was a police officer. Roy, that's it, Roy Jenkins. He was a police officer at Hammersmith Police Station, and his wife and her brother lived in a station house in Hammersmith, a big station house, yeah. And her brother lived in that house as well. So I was, I don't know why, how, what I was to believe that the police officer, not my uncle Roy, but his wife's brother was the one that sexually abused me, yeah, and it was bad, and it was bad, really bad, and so all my life, up to the age of 50 odd years of age, or a little bit younger, I was to believe that it was a police officer that done this up to me. So I've always hated authority, and I've always hated people with uniforms. So, especially police officers. And when I get caught for anything, I've always hurt police officers, broke the jaws or done something silly, it's always a violence. It's always violence, yeah. So it goes to show I never do anything, yeah, because we've got a family picture of me in a big photograph, right? And in front of me is my uncle Gladys and my uncle Don, right? Where this is supposed to have happened later on, I found out, but a lot of years after the photograph, I'm a big boy, just come out my YP. I never even knew anything then. I never, still even didn't even know. I still thought it was a police officer that done it, yeah? And they're standing in front of me, and everybody knew, barring me. I don't suppose my sister even knew. My brother Keith was the one, my oldest brother Keith was down the other end. He was the one who found me upstairs on the bed, naked, with all medals, because this guy come out of the army. He was a person that mucks about young kids. He chucked him out of the army, yeah? So I'm standing in front, but every time Gladys and Don come round the house, I was always very, very uncomfortable. She'd always cuddle me and kiss me and everything, yeah? Because it was her brother that sexually abused me. But she'd always cuddle and kiss me, but I always felt there was something wrong, yeah? So later on in my life, I go back in prison, I come out, I get hold of Big Gaff in Kingston, I get my brother, Keith, to come round and do, it's about 90s, not in the 90s, 97, 98, yeah? I get my brothers to come round, my brother Keith to come round and do all the electrics in the house. So me and him are talking, and I'm saying, yeah, that's what Keith, police officers driving me out, I can't stand them. Something must have happened, yeah. I said, me being sexually abused, but he said, mate, he wasn't sexually abused by Uncle Roy's wife's brother. It was Gladys's brother. I went, what? He said it was Gladys's. he sexually abused you as a child. Mate, after finding out after you're 50 odd years of age, and it happened when I was 4, how do you feel? You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe the reasons they never told me was maybe, like even me being 14, 13 years of age, maybe I would have done things to him. Maybe I'd have killed him as a kid. I don't know, you know what I mean? But when you get told that late on in your life, you think, wow, why didn't anybody tell me before? But anyway, me and my brother were very close, yeah, and I couldn't believe it when he told me. Like, to believe it was someone else, and I've had photographs and cuddled them people in my house, and loved them and everything. But I always felt uncomfortable, you know. Why didn't they? Anyway, but they didn't. But so many years after that, not many years, I was still at school causing problems, and they couldn't cope with me, yeah. So they put me in a home. It's not my mum's fault. It's just they couldn't cope with me. So they put me in a home in Wales. I can remember a bit of the coach. I can remember going to the beach one day with all the kids, and me getting an electric eel, and putting it in a bag and taking it back to the dorms and put it in a big fish tank. I can remember all these things, you know. And I was like a young kid, you know, right? And I was abused, sexually abused, worse than you could ever imagine, by people that coming from off the roads or whatever they come from, these people, and they was yuppies or whatever you call these people, and they used to sexually abuse all us kids in where we was, yeah. And we was in dorms, not in rooms, in dorms. They used to come and pick us up, you know, one at a time, take us downstairs and abuse us, sexually abuse. It went on for ages. It went on for ages and ages and ages and ages, you know. And my mum, in the end, she come and got me, right? But you got to remember, yeah, when I was sexually abused by my uncle, which I thought was a police officer, everyone got round me and gave me sweets and everything, looked after me, toys, so I was happy, yeah. So when I come out of the home and I told my mum what had happened, she just thought I was crying for more toys and more sweets. So anyway, that completely all went out of my head. You know what happened. I was still worse as a kid. I was still fighting and doing crazy things. It was always in me. Something clicked and it made me a worse a kid than ever then. You know, robberies, you know, doing this, bashing up old men, nicking all their money and everything, yeah. So it must have been in the back of my head that it was always men, that, you know, I was always bashing up men, old men and things like that in the park, you know. And my mum used to worry when I was to climb over the fence, the gates, and go down to Acton Park, which is for yards from our house, yeah, in front of us, and go to the fair and work in the fair. My mum would always come and get me. My mum was frightened maybe it would happen again to me, yeah. So, I mean, I'm an IPP now, and when I'm an IPP, I'm under psychology, yeah, and I'm doing all sorts of courses, but I got a knockback from the first one, 2.5 year knockback, then I get another knockback. So this one, I think, oh, I've got no chance. But what they do, they put me in front of like a nurse, psychology nurse is some sort of nurse, and she was with me for about 3 months, I suppose. Wants to know all the background of my life and everything. And I told her, don't forget that I didn't know anything at that time about me being molested by whatever, yeah. So, I mean, I'm on about the police officer turn out and all that crap, yeah. So what made what really done it made it worse was when she was talking to me and she got into my nut and she made me open up things that I've never done before. She got into my head and she opened doors in my head that have been shut for years, that have got cobwebs in and all that, the way she put it over to me. Yeah? And I started to tell her about me being abused as a child and all this. And I started to tell her about me being abused in the house in Wales and all that. And it got so bad that she even got upset herself because I started to cry because I can't believe it, what happened to me. And and no one really took no notice of me when I come home. It wasn't my mum's fault or nothing like that. It's because I was a greedy little boy that wanted sweets, she thought, and all that. So when it all come out and I was on the parole board, all that come out and they was asking me in the parole board questions about all this. And they are giving me my parole because of that. Because they realise that is something that's made me the person that I am, and it's something that should be looked at, and it's something that should have been addressed rather than just let it go, yeah? Because it's always in your head, but, and that's why maybe because I used to fight all the time and do robberies and all that, armed robberies and hurt people and all that, that's always been in the back of my head. Being abused as a young kid. And then when I come here, Terry Haley, my mate, I got me a place and come here. He said, look, your life's mad, you should do a book. And I said, tell, you know what I mean? He went, look, let's do a book. And it's took 3 years to do this book. 3 years. And I decided then to let it all out. Let everything out. Rather than hold it back in me, keep it in me, yeah? Let it out, let everybody know how things happen, what happens in your life. People should be aware of these things, yeah? So I let it out, it all come out in my book. And, my sister never even knew about me being abused by my uncle. It's madness, you know what I mean? It's only later on she found out about it. And, anyway, they used to go around Gladys's house and Don's house and, all lovely with Christine, the daughter, and another. It's all, anyway. So when it all come out in prison under these people, it was like hypnotised me, and it all come out. It's like one of them things, yeah. And they give me a parole because of that, I think. And, and then I had to go see people when I come out, and talk to them about that as well. So, it's something. Do you really, really think that I've kept this in for 50 odd, 60 odd, 70 odd years, yeah? Right? Yeah, 70 years I kept this in me for 70 years. Because I'm now 74, yeah? So it's come out, 70 odd years, it's come out about the whole lot of it. Do you really think that I want that to come out? It come out, yeah, I wanted it to come out. But do you think a big man like me would talk about something like that? Why would I want to talk about something like that? It's madness. Anyway, but I have done, and I did do, yeah? And it's part of my life. And it's part of my life that had to come out, so that people see that this can happen. And it can happen behind closed doors and you don't know nothing about it. Listen, my sister Dinah, I love my big sister Dinah. I love her, it's my sister. We're very close. I mean, I've fought for my sister all her life. I've had more fights about my sister and guys and men and bits and pieces than anybody. Do you know what I mean? Bashed up guys because they made her pregnant, you know. Bashed up guys because they took liberties down the farm. Bashed up guys because they took liberties down the stables. All these sort of things that I've done, yeah. And yet, my sister's turned on me, yeah. Why has she turned on me? Because she feels that I hurt my mum by saying that. Why is it not my mum's fault? It's not my mum's fault. It come out. It's not my mum's fault. If I got sexually abused as a child, it's not my mum's fault. Is it? How can it be my mum's fault? You know what I mean? They put me in a home and I'm sexually abused and it's not my mum's fault. It's what happens. It's what happens in life. There are loads of kids out there now. Loads of kids. You know, maybe kids that are even looking at my channel that it's happened to. Let me tell you something, yeah. I was sitting down in someone's house, I ain't saying his name, in someone's house, telling him about me being sexually abused, this, that and the other. And I started to little cry, you know, because I'm quite emotional like it, yeah. And about 6-7 months down the line, maybe even longer than that. And then the book came out, and then, mate, this guy has just come back out of court, yeah? He's had a big fight with someone that's a multi-millionaire that lives in America that's been extradited over to this country, or was in this country, and he had to go to court. My mate, it happened to him, but it happened to him in a church. People in the church were sexually abusing him whilst he was the age of 12, from the age of 6 or 5. So how do you think he feels to and I'm the one that made him go to see a solicitor. No one really knew anything about it, not even his mum, not even his dad. And his dad's a right handful, believe me, his dad's a nut. And he had to go to see a solicitor because he's old, he's in his 40s. He had to go see a solicitor. And that solicitor then brought it all forward. And it become a retrial. It became a retrial. You know, there's a lot went on. A lot I'm not going to tell you because it come out who it is. So, you know, it's a big thing, mate. And it just goes to show you, yeah, that my book and my story has brought people forward. And believe me, there's been loads of people that I know, like loads of people that I know that have come forward with things like that, saying to me, yeah, it happened to me, Ray. I was abused by bump or whatever, you know. And you think to yourself, fucking hell, man, how many people are there out there that have gone through maybe not what I've gone through, maybe even worse than what I've gone through, that have kept it in, that have kept it quiet. It should come out, you know. It should come out. I'm a big man, mate. I'm a big man. Not only in size, but I'm a big man, mate. Believe me, I've been about in my life. I've done some terrible things in my life. I'm a big man, mate, you know. And because of that, I've been with some terrible people, but I'm still a very big man. Do you think that I want to be sitting here telling you that I was molested as a child twice? Why would I want to do that? It's no sense to do that, but I've done it because I want people to have the help that I never had. The help that I never had, you know. It's not for my mum, it's for the years in them times, yeah. In the 60s and the 70s, it just happened all the time, 50s, 60s, it just happens. It's happening even today more so, yeah, because of what's going on with the grooming bits and pieces and all that, yeah. It's, you know, and there's things going to come out even more so, but when it becomes with boys, with young boys. It's terrible. Even the young girls, it's terrible, mate. You know, it's a thing that it gets to me, yeah. It really gets to me big time. That happened to me. It happened to me twice. You know, and I'm not, you know, I'm not no fucking, you know what I mean? You know, when we done the book, my mate Matt Trollope done the book with me, yeah. 3 years he took to do this book, and you know, and we talked about it all. And he said to me, you know, how do you feel? I went, look, you know, I cried. I cried. Listen, my book, the first, I don't know, 50 pages, 60 pages, I don't know, I can't remember now. It'd make you cry, man. It'd make you cry because, you know, there's more to it than what I've just said now, yeah? But it's so sad, man. It's so sad that can happen to a man like myself, to a boy, to a young boy. And, you know, fucking hell. And I get really, really peed off with everything that's happened. People saying this and saying that, you know, mate, they ain't got a clue. They don't know. They don't know, mate, you know what I mean? And these people that say these things, yeah, about this and about me and this and the other, believe me, they're very lucky. They're very lucky that I'm no longer like the person I was. You know, they're very lucky, believe me, they're lucky. And, you know, people that go on this and go on that, families, my family, yeah, my family. You know what I mean? What can you do, mate? It's your family, what can you do? You know what I mean? My sister, I just got to wipe my mouth, man, and go, why, Di? You know, why? Why are you doing this to me? You know what I mean? Why? You don't know. You don't know, Di. You don't know. My brother Keith told me about the first incident. You didn't know about the second one. How did you know, Di? It's only me that knows and my mum. No one else, Di. He wasn't there. It was me as a child. Couldn't have been a year older than me, 2 years old. How did you know, Di? If I didn't remember myself, what is up with you? Forget it, Di. Try and live your life and leave me alone. Leave me alone, Di. I've been in prison 30 years of my life. Do you think I need you driving me mad? I don't need it. Get a life and leave me alone, Dinah. Please. You know, like, it's too much for me, you know, that, you know, that I've got not a big family, well, a couple of sisters, 2 other brothers, 5 of us in the family, and there's one out of that 5 making themselves so busy. Why? Why? The eldest one of my family, Keith, I love him more than anything, right? He just wishes me all the best, mate. He wishes me all the best, mate. I wish you all the best, mate. I love you to death. That's my brother Keith, the eldest one that knows everything. So why is Dinah like she is and she knows nothing? Anyway, good morning, bang, bang, round. Nice one.